morning on Thursday, the 27th of February 2025. It's 8 a.m. in the Gambia, and therefore coffee time on West Coast Radio with me, Peter Gomez. On YouTube, our program is sponsored by Jah Oil.
In a world where progress never sleeps, one company stands out as the driving force behind infrastructure and energy solutions. Introducing our fuel company and cement producer, where excellence meets efficiency. Jah Oil. The company have 30 filling stations across the country that are all operating, which includes the recently completed Yarambamba and Old Yundum filling stations. And our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Along the years, Jah Oil introduces importation and distribution of cement in their line of business to diversify and strengthen their operations. Are you a cement retailer? At the moment, Jah Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market. With a focus on sustainability and innovation, we are paving the way for a greener, stronger future. Trust in us to fuel your projects and lay the groundwork for success. We currently produce over 25,200,000 bags per year. As the largest cement producer in the country, Jah Oil also targets to export cement to the neighboring countries like Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, and others. Join us on our journey to shape a world where every drop of fuel and every bag of cement makes a difference. Together, we can build a brighter tomorrow.
If you'd like to advertise on the program, get in touch with Mr. Jibril Jassi on 699-0107, 787-0107, or 924-24-24. Let's now talk about the Gambia's Self-Determination Party, the People's Progressive Party, or PPP. It's currently in the throes of deepening internal strife as key figures challenge the authority of a divided leadership. Last week we had Usman Madike Fall on the program, staking his claim to the leadership. The man he's supposed to replace maintains he's still in charge, Kebba Jallow. Having listened to his challenger's claims on this program, has also joined us this morning to give his side of the story. Thanks for coming to the program, Kebba, and happy Diamond Jubilee.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, all your listeners and our esteemed listeners, Peter.
Give us the background to this program.
Okay. Peter, the party's constitution states that we should have a biannual Congress. But every 4 years we go for elective Congress. Fortunately, this time was an elective Congress. Mm-hmm. That means my first term expired last December. In that, there were 6 elective offices: the president, the vice president, the treasurer, the deputy treasurer, the secretary general, and the deputy secretary general. There are other offices, but they are not for elections. Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately for us, we were a little bit delayed because we thought we had a couple of months to go into elections. But what happened, we found out that we had no time. We thought the election was going to be in February. But then we went to IEC and they said, no. Your election is supposed to do in November or December, so go ahead and do it.
So IEC insisted that you held your elections in November or December?
Or December.
Yeah, but they gave other parties up to April.
And in fact, we wrote to them, but they denied us. But we said, okay, now the best we can do is to go for emergency Congress. So we drew back and then start again, and then we went to arrange ourselves for emergency Congress. The PPP Congress elections are such that every constituency, 53 constituencies in the country, is up to 12 delegates from each constituency. Whoa. But because of the nature of it, the expense involved in it, and then the timing, we had to reduce it to 2 from each constituency to attend the Congress.
So 106 in all?
In all for the Congress. Okay. But prior to that, there was 1 month before the election, the party held another Congress, we call it mini Congress, the National Executive Committee. Those are the ones that are responsible for the party's operations or whatever. The NEC is the body that controls the party from election to election. So they had their Congress, we call it National Executive Committee at Mansakonko. That was the place when we had we agreed what is to be tabled at the Congress. But prior to that, we have these committees, the Central Committee and all other committees putting things together. So what we did was at the Central Committee level, as the Secretary General at the time, we proposed some names to be in the Electoral Commission. The Central Committee accepted, adopted those names, and then we went to Mansakonko, and the NEC accepted, adopted. In fact, at that meeting, the body wanted to add to more. Instead of 9, they wanted about 16 or 15 or whatever. But then we voted, and then it was reduced to the same 9 that we proposed. So we had as elective the number of electoral commission, 9 members. So when we did that, okay, it was adopted there, and then we said, okay, the electoral commission in the party is independent. It's completely, for me, I don't have any say. All we do is to, for me, was to propose names and then take it to the Central Committee approval and take it to NEC for approval. So that's my role in it. The rest they do conduct elections, they do counting, they declare winners and all those things. That's the role of the independent commission. And also they do, if there is dispute, what they call dispute resolution. That's the role of the Independent Electoral Commission. They were totally independent.
The national?
The PPP.
Okay.
PPP's Electoral Commission.
Okay.
That's the role. So
but that's what you call the National Election Commission, isn't it?
No, we call them, yeah, exactly, National Election Commission.
Yeah,
but exactly,
yeah, because if you have independent, then it confuses us.
Exactly, yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So after going to Mansakonko, we adopted all the resolutions and so on. We forwarded it to the organizing committee of the Congress. Also in Mansakonko, we said, okay, we proposed, the Central Committee proposed the venue to be in Mansakonko because it's the proximity and whatever. We said, okay, Mansakonko is cheaper, we will all come halfway. But then the NEC accepted it, so we said, no, let's go to Banjul. We had to push and pull. We were thinking about the cost involved in it, but then we finally agreed what the NEC proposed, that it should be at Banjul. So we started the ball rolling there. Now, one of the contentions was the Electoral Commission proposed some amendments to be adopted. Let me just quote one or two.
Yes.
One of them is to sign the undertaking. No, that's number one. That's the contention now we are working on.
There was an undertaking.
Undertaking.
Saying what?
So that in case of any default, we can solve all issues internally.
Okay.
So there'll be no
recourse to the
law courts.
Okay.
That's it. The undertaking states that you can solve all your internal problems within the party structure. That is the whole thing. But then some people decided not to go by that, and they said no, they will not. But then we are pushing towards the election. There was a form that was filled. All of us filled out those forms, and then we signed. Some of us signed, but others did not sign. And then
why did the others not sign?
They don't like to sign it. They don't want to sign it. That's what I can say.
But they saw the form. They knew of the forms.
Yes, they knew everything because we discussed it. It was adopted at the Congress, at the NEC meeting in Mansakonko. It was accepted there. It was in table. And also there was another one, the voting by raise of hands, or also in the presence of the candidates. That was also changed at the Mansakonko meeting. So those ones were accepted. But then they said, okay, raising of hands should be standard. It's been there forever. And then what they said, in the presence election in the presence of the candidates, they said, okay, we should go out instead of the candidates should step out of the vicinity so that elections can be held without their presence. So that there'll be some sort of independent, some sort of how you call it?
Can't be secret.
Secret.
No, that's not secret.
Exactly.
That's not secret anymore.
So you have to be outside the election area, So we accepted that. So myself and all of them, all the contents, we went out of the area. So the voting was held in our absence. Now, the issue is when the election was held, I accepted that I was defeated by one vote. And then
you were defeated and you graciously accepted defeat.
Yes.
Okay.
I accept.
In a world where progress never sleeps, one company stands out as the driving force behind infrastructure and energy solutions. Introducing our fuel company and cement producer, where excellence meets efficiency. Jah Oil. The company have 30 filling stations across the country that are all operating, which includes the recently completed Yarambamba and Old Yundum filling stations. And our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Along the years, Jah Oil introduces importation and distribution of cement in their line of business to diversify and strengthen their operations. Are you a cement retailer? At the moment, Jah Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market. With a focus on sustainability and innovation, we are paving the way for a greener, stronger future. Trust in us to fuel your projects and lay the groundwork for success. We currently produce over 25,200,000 bags per year. As the largest cement producer in the country, Jah Oil also targets to export cement to the neighboring countries like Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, and others. Join us on our journey to shape a world where every drop of fuel and every bag of cement makes a difference. Together, we can build a brighter tomorrow.
And then I called how you call it? I called Madike, congratulated him. I said, we have to find a way of how we're going to move on. Mm-hmm. But then the election did not stop there. You have to certify the results. But we give ourselves at least 7 days to 12 days for the parties to come together and see if there's any grievances, whatever, aggrieved parties to lay their complaints or whatever. So that's the time frame we gave to all of us. But at that time, we had about 3 contestants who cited some anomaly within the Constitution that if you do not sign that undertaking, that means you are disqualified. Exactly, and that's where the problem rose. They knew exactly, all of us knew what was inside it. They knew that if you do not sign, you'll be disqualified. But that is above me. It was the the Electoral Commission that was to carry on that decision. So those people, they wrote to, I did not write, I did not protest, I did not write as Kebba. I just want to make sure that things move on. But also, the Constitution embodies all of us, whether you are an individual PPP in the street, or you are a Secretary General, or you are a president. We are all covered by the Constitution. Mm-hmm. Those people who, the aggrieved personalities, they had the right to protest, and they did, and they wrote to the Electoral Commission, and they found out that, well, there's a case, and then our Electoral Commission looked at it and said, there is a case. You did not sign, reason best known to them. So if you apply the law states that you should be
disqualified.
And they applied that. So that's it. That's where the problem is. And then from that.
So who is disqualified? Hopefully not Usman Madike Fall.
Usman is not disqualified, and Usman was disqualified. And all of them who contested, I can say Mary Rose, who did not sign, and Karafa, and who else? Those who did not sign,
okay,
they were disqualified. But still, they gave them up to 3 weeks to write back and explain themselves why they are still holding on. That was up to last on the 18th.
Still holding on, meanings why they still don't want to sign this undertaking.
No, why what are their problems? Exactly, yeah. They did not sign. They wrote to them to say, do you have any reasons why you should not be disqualified? And then no reply came up until on the 18th of this month, and then these people, they took that risk and then they should be disqualified. But then in any...
So from the 18th of this month, which coincidentally was our Independence Day anniversary,
exactly,
Usman Madike Fall and his supporters,
yes,
you know, who won during this election,
exactly,
have all been disqualified, right?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
So we are in a box now. Now the situation arises, Peter. What we are trying to, the message we are trying to send here, it's not only about PPP issue. When you are in a situation where you have a constitution, a law that binds all of us together, it should be respected by all of us, no matter how difficult. You can challenge it. But the thing we are trying to draw out here is the fact that the PPP has been going through all these challenges, all these past 2 elections. So we're trying to avoid that. But unfortunately, it brought us back to the same thing again.
Yeah, but don't you think the National Electoral Commission is at fault here? Mm-hmm. If you take the, national elections, for instance, that's why you have the IEC. Mm-hmm. Kebba puts in an application, to run for president or National Assembly or even local council, all right? There's a vetting process. During that vetting process, if you don't satisfy A, B, or C, you are told that you cannot run, but you don't allow somebody to run, and then you use, a regulation in the laws and whatever to disqualify them, stop them from running, because already they do not meet all the conditions for contesting.
In fact, Peter, the form was there until the election day.
No, we are saying because they did not sign it, they should not have qualified to run. Because I think there's an element of cost for being a candidate. I think for Secretary General, you had to what?
Yeah,
you call it a donation.
Yeah, but
of what? $90,000.
Yeah, but then again,
I give you my $90,000. You're happy to hold on to my $90,000.
No, but
afterwards, then you penalize me, and I lose $90,000 just like that. That's painful.
Let me help you there.
Yes,
ththey are the issues that they threw out at the NEC meeting. The cost involved in it.
So Madike did not lose $90,000?
No,
okay.
not even a dollar.
Okay, all right.
And then there was also the issue of qualification. At least secondary force, whatever you call it, paper, they threw that out. So we accepted all that. But then we said, okay, one condition should remain. At least you should sign this undertaking so that we solve our problem internally.
I agree, Kebba.
Until the election day.
Yeah, but Kebba, I am saying somebody who is constitutionally not qualified to run because they did not sign a mandatory form should not have been allowed to run in the first place.
But look at it. If there is, I'll give you his own example. If Gambia is playing with, for example, Senegal.
Yes.
I'm just a simple example.
Yeah, okay. Okay, go
and then Gambia field in, he said 18, on the 18, or you call it.
Yeah.
Gambia field in 20, somebody who is 22, 23, and Senegal knew it.
Yeah.
Don't you think Senegal will tell them, don't do that? They will let them play. And if they play, they lose, they know. If Senegal loses, they know that they can point at something. They can say, you know what, you feel in something.
Well, the football analogy, works in this case for you.
But then it's the same thing. It's the constitution that was violated. The whole thing, the whole issue, Peter, is the constitution was violated deliberately. Let me emphasize that. It was deliberately violated. They insisted that they will not sign. So what can we do? If we say tomorrow, if we say that there is not going to be election that day, there'll be chaos. There'll be fighting. So
where are you now?
Now
you have two camps. There are those who...
No, there's one camp, Peter. PPP is one. It's one constitution that binds us together.
Well, but Kefal insists he's the new Secretary General.
Yeah. But that's what he can say. But Madike is not the Secretary General. According to the PPP, not Kebba Jallow, it's not according to the PPP constitution. There's one PPP. There's one constitution. I think what we need to do is...
Yeah, but the IEC recognizes the Usman Madike Fall.
No. Let me clarify that.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah. The IEC were present.
Yes.
And they took note of the election. And they know the counting. They knew that this was the number of votes that were counted for. And that's what they announced. The IEC announced the fact that Madike got this, somebody got this, somebody got that, and that's it. But then, according to PPP, even with IEC, they cannot. IEC's role is to go and be present. They cannot confirm election of any candidate, not even PPP, even NPP or whatever. IEC role is to only go there, make sure that they preside over it, but not to act in any way. But then we said, okay, IEC's role, they did their job perfectly. What they saw is what they said, that Madike won by 1 vote, this one won by 1 vote. And it was only 2, 3, all the candidates were about 1, 2, 3 votes different, but that's okay. But that's what I had in the papers. Or they said exactly. IEC announced that they won. That's not true, and that is not true. They can ask IEC. IEC after the announcement, they knew that that was not the end of the story. The end of the story was after our electoral commission confirmed the winner. Then IEC can announce.
It's sad. Sadada will be turning in his grave.
Unfortunately. And OJ.
You face a potential third litigation on account of congresses. You know, transparency is becoming a big problem for the PPP.
Actually, Peter, this is very transparent. It's just that
first you had an issue with former, PPP vice president under
BB.
Under Sadauda, BB, vice president of the country, and then with Tumanjai, and now Usman Madike Fall.
This is what we are trying to avoid, Peter. That's why we said, okay.
Well, the best way to avoid this is, you have accepted defeat. Be gracious. Just continue with it.
Yes, yeah.
All right?
But then, Peter, let me help you here. As the leader before handing over, you think it's wise to hand over everything and walk away? No, you have to stabilize the party and then just give up.
Okay. But so this is what you're trying to do?
I have to stabilize the party.
Okay.
Make sure that everything goes right. And I can promise you from here, I'm going to call Madike for everybody to sit down and walk through this thing and make sure we resolve it.
So you're going to oversee a transition process?
Not. I want to make sure there is stability and peace. For me, Peter, honestly, if this thing ends tomorrow, I'm gone. And that's what I told everybody, and that's what I told Peter. Madike. I'm gone. Madike, I have no issue with him. He is a nice gentleman. He has been in the party for a long period. And
he has won an election in the eyes of many people.
No. Well, okay, he won by numbers, that's fine. But then he flouted the constitution. Peter, let us not overlook that thing. The issue, what brought us together is the book, is the constitution. That is what brought us together. If I violated my constitution, that means I'm not genuine to myself, to the party. Madike has to accept that they faulted by not signing this thing. They faulted by not being part of the PPP. So maybe when we sit down at a better place, all these things will come out and they will find a solution.
Okay. Who is helping you solve this? Because I am assuming that the two camps are so far apart.
No, I'm talking to Madike. We talk. We talk. We'll see how we can do these things. We will see how we can come together and solve it. If not.
And what are your chances with the National Electoral Commission, the NEC? Which you claim is independent.
Yes.
So they have made a decision, and they would want their decision to stand.
Yeah, exactly. And those are independent. That one,
So how will you deal with that?
We will have to, as a team, sit down with them, tell them what is the situation. If not, this is what is going to happen to the party. Peter, the problem we have is seriously internal. We cannot have somebody, whether you are an individual in the party or whether you are an office-holding person and you violate the constitution and you walk away state, then that means that the constitution has no meaning. You just read the paper and then throw it.
Yeah, but the constitution is supposed to be dynamic. It should
it is dynamic.
It should respond to reality and changing times.
That is why we said, let us sit down to resolve this internally, Peter. The whole thing about it is to sit down, find an amicable solution, so that if there is dispute like now, then we can have time to sit down and go over everything. But then they said no.
Do you think the PPP can survive as a party? It's trying to revive itself, after what Yahya Jammeh did to it.
Yeah.
But it's been stumbling, from trouble to trouble. Do you think it has a future?
Yes, Peter. PPP is not like something you hold on to. It's an idea. PPP is a set of ideas and ideas, principles that we believe in. You have to think about the...
Bibi Dabo believes, what he holds on is the true ideology of the party. Tumanjai would feel the same. Usman Madike Fall now.
This is why we say, why can't we all come together? We can all come together and sit down. Bibi, Tuma, Madike, Kebba, Jallow, Papanjai, all of us can sit down and revive the party. It can be done.
Okay. Final message, if any?
No, what I want to say, Peter, I will do my best. Make sure that we call on the belligerents, sit down at one table.
Belligerents? That's too strong a word.
Yeah, but this is like what we said. We said we are falling apart. So I'll call them belligerents. So now you have to call them and sit down and walk through this. Otherwise, whose fault? But the message I want to send is that the people should abide by the rules and regulations of the paper they sign, they belong to. Whether it's a football club or it's a Gambia government, we are also going through the same thing at national level, the constitution. We are going through almost the same thing.
Gambians and constitutions.
It's a problem. So now that's the situation we are in now. We have to abide by that, and then once that is done, then the party can move on. But it can survive as a party.
Kebba, good luck.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming. Kebba Jallow, PPP Secretary General. And we wish him success in his efforts to reunite the party. That's it from Coffee Time this morning. Tomorrow we are back with somebody who's been on the back way, has come back home and picked his life up again. And he'll be telling us his story, hopefully inspiring those people who have dreams of taking the back way.